I'm here again with Brandon Kerner, lead developer for the Discreet project. Brandon, it's been a while. It's nice to speak to you again. How are you doing?
I'm doing all right.
I know we've got a lot to get to, so we can dive right in. What have you got to tell us?
Well, as you know, we are releasing our testnet on October 30th. So the development team has been very busy on making sure the code is in a very stable point where we can do the release. And we're very excited with what we're able to show.
That's very exciting. I know it's been a long time coming, and this is a big day.
Certainly is.
So what has the development team been working on in advance of this testnet?
Well, last time we talked about the discrete data management, and the first thing that we did was finalize those changes. So we implemented the discrete data management system that we talked about last time, and that's fully integrated in our code base. That's going to make it a lot easier in the future to implement a lot of the optimizations that will speed up our daemon software and make sure the blockchain runs smoothly and can scale to lots of transactions a second.
That's amazing.
In addition to that, we've also finalized a lot of the coin logic, specifically with the mixed transactions. So we've improved the behavior of mixed transactions that have to deal with transactions between transparent addresses and private addresses. So we're very excited that that's stable and that's been proven to be secure.
I know in advance of testnet, you've had to squash a lot of bugs. What can you tell me about that?
Yeah, so in order to make the code as stable as possible, our team has been hard at work testing it in a number of different environments. We've had the DevNet running for quite a long time. In fact, we've reached over 200,000 blocks published on our DevNet. In that course of time, we've discovered a lot of bugs, and we're very happy to report that the code is very stable, and we fixed a lot of the bugs that we've discovered.
That's great news for stability.
That being said, we're excited for testnet because that will allow us to discover anything that might possibly go wrong. So we're excited for our alpha testers.
That's great. Can you tell me a little bit about some of the logic changes that you've made in the recent past?
We've made quite a few logic changes to stabilize the daemon software and make sure that our blockchain is running smoothly and within the requirements that we've set, which you can check on our GitHub. Some of the more important ones were that we've improved the behavior of our peer-to-peer network substantially. There's been multiple instances of us testing and improving the peer-to-peer logic, and we're very happy to report that it is extremely secure and stable. So we've run multiple tests on that. We have finished up a lot of the logic for the handler and how we handle the receiving and logic for packets in the peer-to-peer network as well. In addition to that, we've added a lot more utilities to the rest of the code base to make it easier for implementing new features. We've improved the bootstrap and on startup behavior for the daemon, for syncing, and for the actual network initialization. So that's become a lot more secure and stable as well. And we fixed a performance bug as well that was very interesting.
What can you tell me about some of the bigger features that the dev team has been working on for Discreet?
Well, one of the big features that we worked on last month and this month was the header first syncing. So improving the way that our blockchain actually downloads blocks initially and syncs the blockchain. So we added in the get headers and headers packet to actually perform header first syncing. This is a desirable feature in blockchains because it allows you to get a lot of information about the blockchain before you start syncing the rest of it. And this can help a lot with stability and also give you information about blocks beforehand that allow you to do faster validation.
Faster validation sounds nice.
We also changed how the handler works. So all requests that are sent out for data in the handler are now registered, and we have timeouts, and it runs better in an asynchronous environment, which is the kind of networking that blockchains exist in.
You must be very pleased to get that done.
We're very happy that all of that's working. In addition to that, we also have the validation cache, which allows us to validate blocks before we commit any changes to the database. And what's useful about this is we can validate multiple sets of blocks at a time, which allows us to speed up syncing a lot. So mainly, most of these changes are focused on optimization and security.
The bottom line is Discreet is more stable and faster.
Stabler, faster, and more secure.
That's amazing. That's great.
Awesome.
What else have you been working on?
So we've also been testing our implementation of view tags. And the way that those work is in each transaction, for each private transaction, the private outputs in that transaction have a byte associated with them. And this is an extremely easy value to calculate. So it makes syncing the blockchain for a specific address and searching for funds a lot faster, because it allows you to filter out a lot of the outputs just by calculating this value. And the way it's constructed doesn't allow for any user to trace it back to you. So it is fully compliant with the anonymity and confidentiality of our transaction structure.
We're also joined today by Frederick Markor. How are you doing, Fred?
Doing well. Thank you.
It's great to have you here. Wonder if you could talk us through some of the other preparations and details around testnet.
Right. So testnet has been quite an extensive thing to get working, because we have the 3,000 discrete limit for applying for testnet. And I'm happy to announce that everyone who has sent in an application and has qualified for it will receive an email to where they can jump on the testnet and try all the software out for themselves. On top of that, we have a faucet coming out where you can hop on and you can put in your private address, and it'll pay you out 15 TDIST, which is test discrete, for the test network. So you can try sending funds around, seeing how that works. On top of that, there's an Explorer that'll be live, and that'll be live for everyone, even the non-testnet participants to use. So you can sort of follow along with how the testnet is going, what sort of transactions are going on. Obviously, you won't be able to see much because it's private transactions, unless you're doing explicitly a transparent to transparent transaction. But that should be very exciting, and I think we'll get a lot of useful information about some of the stuff that occurs in sort of a non-clinical environment, because as Brandon has said, we've deployed nodes across various continents and it's all worked great, and it's been running for quite a long time. We're up to 200,000 blocks at this point. But when you start running the testnet on sort of non-clinical, sort of just average user PCs, you might encounter some bugs that we haven't encountered in our testing.
That's very cool. I'm excited to use the Explorer. Thanks, Fred. Brandon, jumping back to you, is there anything else you want to talk about?
Certainly. We've been working on a revision for our technical paper, which is going to serve as a full specification of all the technologies we're using and plan on presenting in the project. So this is going to talk about anticipated upgrades as well. For instance, the Surface technology, which is currently being worked on by independent researchers, as well as any other upgrades which will improve privacy down the line, because we are very focused on making sure we deliver the best privacy that is available technologically. In addition to that, it's going to serve as a good guideline in the future for the direction of our technology and the project.
A revised tech paper is exciting.
With the revision of the technical white paper, there's been some questions about compliance, because several countries and nations are starting to implement more compliance when it comes to new crypto projects and sort of the fundraising of those. And a big one is the European MiCA compliance. So what we're working on right now is a foundation in Liechtenstein that'll serve as sort of the regulatory body for the Discreet project, and the revised technical paper will be MiCA compliant. We're working with a team of attorneys right now to make sure that is all above board.
Well, thank you, gentlemen. Is there any last thoughts that you want to communicate?
Yeah, so in the closed alpha testnet, we'll be supporting Unix-based systems. So that'll be stuff like Debian, Ubuntu, stuff like that, and Windows as well. Mac is not currently supported, but it will be in the future. Also, with both Debian-based system and Windows, we have an updater that will continuously give you new updates as we patch things that we discover as the testnet runs.
Great, thank you. Fred, Brandon, thank you both for joining me, and exciting times for Discreet. This is a real milestone. Congratulations. Done great work, and look forward to hearing what's next.
Yeah, we're looking
awesome.
forward to lots of tests. Thanks so much.
Thank you for having us.